Y'all, it's your boy Easy, and on today's episode of Easy Opens, we're going to be taking a look at the Jada Toys Elec Man. Or Elec Man. One of the two. Elec Man first appeared in the video game Mega Man #1 from 1987. He was created by Dr. Light to control the voltage of power plants and is generally considered to be conceited, egotistical, and a bit sadistic. He has razor-sharp judgment and physical agility on par with Quickman. His special weapon is the Thunder Beam that can break through solid rock. He plays the electric guitar and despises products made of rubber. And all of this information is according to megaman.fandom.com. The box art is really cool. It looks a lot like the graphics from the video game, and that's rad, but we're not here to talk about that. Let's get this figure free from its plastic prison and see what we think about Elec Man. All right, so fresh out the box, this figure looks fantastic. He feels fantastic. I mean, Jada is doing a fantastic job with this line, bringing these characters to life, and this figure is no exception. The colors really pop on this thing. The different plastics that they use work really well together to catch the light and to accent different parts of the figure in different ways, which is really cool, and one of those things you don't necessarily think about when you're thinking about, like, well, if I was going to make this action figure, this is how I would do it. You know, it's just one of those things that seems like an oversight, but Jada has been, like, using it to really good effect, and I really appreciate that. And it further just makes these figures one step better than what, you know, they could have done, just like making it all like the same plastic piece. The sculpt looks great. There's not much here that's too different from some of the other figures we've seen in this line. Yes, there are differences and they're minor, but like sculpt wise, it's not really much to talk about, except maybe on the back you've got some vents and some like knobs and things like that are in the chest piece. But other than that, they're pretty solid. Not a lot sculpt wise, but then again, that's by design. That's how the character is. Now, the face sculpt looks great. The eyes look great, and the facial expressions are fun. I especially love the open-mouthed side-eye face. That's my favorite. But I also love the slight smirk face too. And that's just making these figures another level better for me. Just having the different facial expressions. And yeah, they look great. I mean, if you have any figures from this line already, it's very similar to the other figures that we've received from this line, but you know, that's by design as well, considering they were all made by Dr. Light. He's got a nice weight to him, so he feels appropriately sized and doesn't feel cheap at all. The only complaint I really have is the material that's used for the chest shield area. The type of rubber that they use for this chest piece, at least in my experience and in my, you know, opinion, tends to catch things and kind of can get nicked and damaged very easily. Like if you threw this figure in a box or like a bin and with other figures or just other plastic things, there's a chance that like when you go to take it out, it might stick to whatever it was touching, and then you would lose some of the paint. And in fact, I think it happened on mine just a little bit on the left chest area. And yeah, that's kind of a bummer, but aesthetics wise, it looks great. Like the gradient from the lightning bolt on the chest, how it's indented. Actually, no, it's embossed. I think that's what you'd call it. It is a slight like radial gradient coming out from the lightning bolt, and I think that's awesome. And it looks really cool, and it catches the light and everything like that. I just have that concern that, I don't know, I might be a little bit overly concerned about that, considering that I had the D-Arts Mega Man that I loved, and then my SH Figuarts Street Fighter Ryu fell on him or something, and then when I came back and I pulled him apart, Mega Man was ruined. Like, he just, like, his chest, it, like, had melted. So I'm a little bit, like, cautious about that, especially with Mega Man figures. So your mileage may vary, but that's just my opinion. However, again, like I said, it looks fantastic. And then I think the gradient even goes down to his crotch, which I don't mean to be, you know, accentuating these parts of... actually, that's what I'm here for. So, yeah, sorry if that bothers you. But, yeah, the gradient also goes down to his crotch, which is interesting. And then if you turn him on the back, he also has a slight gradient in the center where there's the three yellow buttons or lights, I guess. And that also goes down to his the bottom of his trunks as well. And so I guess those aren't trunks. I guess those are pants. So yeah, that's really rad. And so yeah, overall, big fan of this. Jada's doing a fantastic job here yet again. And yeah, I'm really excited about this. Elec Man comes with 2 interchangeable heads, 4 interchangeable hands, and a Thunderbeam accessory. All right, now let's take a look at the articulation you're going to get out of Elec Man. So starting at the head, you got 360 at the neck. He can look up a decent amount. He can look down, you know, enough. He's got some side-to-side wiggle room, so a fair amount in the head. Moving on down to the arms. At the shoulder, you've got 360. He can move it up just about this much. And then he's got a swivel at the elbow as well as a joint there. He's also got 360 at the wrist as well as a joint in there. And then the chest area and torso is 360. So the chest area and then the midsection are 360. You can get him to turn around all the way around. And so that's really cool. He's got a decent, very nice range of split range, I guess. I don't know what I'm trying to say there. And yeah, his thigh swivel is there, as well as front to back. He can kick forward quite a bit. And if you turn it just a little bit, he can get some back kicks as well, pretty decently. He's got 360 at the knee as well as a joint in there. And then he's got ankle rockers down at the feet. So there you go. And if I'm not mistaken, that is all the articulation you're going to get out of Elec Man. All right, so I had to get creative here. According to megaman.fandom.com, Elec Man was the basis for Quickman's design by Dr. Light. And based on a DeviantArt height chart by M. Cypher, Quickman is 6'1", apparently. And if he was based off the same design, chances are Elec Man is probably 6'1". This figure of Elec Man stands at 4 3/8 of an inch and weighs 3 ounces. So now let's see how he measures up to some other figures you might have in your collection. Here they are with Marvel Legends Wolverine and Hasbro's Power Rangers Lightning Collection Green Ranger. Here they are with NECA's 1987 animated series Donatello and the NECA Return to New York 4-pack Leonardo. Here they are with the knockoff NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mirage Comics colored bandana Leonardo and the Super 7 TMNT Ultimates Donatello. Here they are with Storm Collectibles Sub-Zero and Jada Toys Dalsim. Here they are with Figma's Link and SH Figuarts Kamen Rider Fies. Here they are with Mattel's Masters of the Universe Classics Icer and McFarlane's DC Multiverse Clock King. Here they are with Marvel Select's Rhino and DC Collect and Connect King Shark. And here they are with Jada Toys Fireman and Iceman. Here they are with Jada Toys Cutman and Mega Man. And here they are with Jada Toys Cutman and Jakks Pacific's World of Nintendo Dr. Wily. So as I've probably stated in this section of all of my Mega Man reviews, I'm a huge Mega Man fan. I loved pretty much every incarnation of the franchise and the comic books especially, and I don't really have any solid memories of Elec Man outside of his design, I guess. I mean, out of the original 6 Robot Masters, he's probably the least visually distinctive, which isn't to say that his design is bad or bland in any way. It's just that with Iceman wearing the parka, Cutman with the scissor head, and Gutsman being huge, Fireman's head being, well, fire, and Bomb Man having a mohawk, I guess, I don't know. I guess Elec, is that what you would call him if you were like friends with him? You just call him Elec? Is Man his last name? I don't know. I'm probably thinking too much about this. Anyway, I guess Elec Man has sort of a Wolverine mask, so there's that, but I don't know. It sounds like I'm pretty down on Elec Man, but like, I think he's fine as a character. His design is in line with the series, and he looks fantastic. Like, I like the character. It's just I feel weird saying he's not my favorite, but saying that just based solely on his design. However, Jada has done an amazing job with this line so far, bringing these characters to life from pixel to plastic. And I am very taken with these figures. Now, I get that like some of their parts are reused and things like that, but the amount of life that the sculpt and the paint just breathes into these figures, they're handled so well and make me just want to play with these figures and pose them in really cool positions and just have them looking cool on the shelf so like every time I see them. And they look like they might just come alive at a moment's notice. And that is fantastic and a huge hallmark for any action figure. And Jada is just totally killing it with this line. And Elec Man is no different. And in fact, I might argue that Elec Man might have moved up in the ranks of one of my favorite figures from this line, because the design of Fireman is cool and I like him, but his sculpt and everything like that leaves me a little, it doesn't quite get to the level that Elec Man does. Now, that could also be, again, because Elec Man has one of the best open mouth, like side-eyed face sculpts that I've ever seen. And it's, I mean, granted, it's not like fine art and it's not like some, high-end toy line. But as far as taking a character and making me appreciate it more because it looks like so excited about whatever malicious thing it's about to do, they nailed it. I don't know. It just makes any scene I put him in with this face like come alive. And couple that with the fact that he comes with one of my most coveted and desired hand options, which is the declarative outstretched index finger pointing hand. That, coupled with the open mouth side-eyed face, just takes this figure to 11. A lot of that same excitement and enjoyment that I'm pairing with the face sculpt and the pointing hand could also go to his thumbs up, thumbs down hand, because that is another one that I think every action figure should come with. And the fact that he comes with both of those and two fists is fantastic and just really adds a whole other level of enjoyment to this figure for me, especially with this facial expression. And just, I don't know, I've got so much enjoyment from playing with this figure that, like I was saying earlier, but I'm going to try to articulate better here, that I think that this figure has elevated my opinion of Elec Man overall among all of the Robot Masters, and that's high praise in my opinion. He looks great, he feels great, he plays great, and the colors just pop and work really well in contrast with one another, as well as the different plastics like I mentioned earlier in the review. And I'm loving how sleek these figures are, and it's just so well done that I am just so happy to have this in my collection and so taken with this line that I am just eagerly anticipating the next releases, because like this is something that I've wanted my entire action figure collecting like career. Is that what you call it? I don't know, whatever. Is really good Mega Man villains. And Jada is making my toy dreams come true here yet again. The only negative thing, again, I already mentioned it earlier, is his chest piece. The plastic, I'm just a little bit worried about that still, but it's been okay throughout all of my photography and everything, but I just worry about longevity. But I mean, there's only so much you can do with these things, and I think it looks good, and I think it was probably the right choice made for it because it works really well with what they're doing with the figure as a whole and stuff like that. But it's just something that I am concerned about, but I think it'll probably be fine in the end. Other than that, his accessory is really neat and fits on his arm really cool, and it looks really cool, but I'm a sucker for translucent plastics, so I mean, that was an easy win for me. Again, everything with this figure, like the articulation is great on all of their figures in this line. A lot of them are pretty much the same, at least with the figures that they've released so far. And I'm just really geeked out, and this has become one of my favorite lines to collect. And so, yeah, if you're a fan of Mega Man, then you definitely need to be collecting this line because it's fantastic. If you're a fan of video game characters, you won't be disappointed here because these figures are just excellent and they're video game characters. So there you go. If you collect action figures who have whatever the Wolverine Marvel Girl mask is called, then Elec Man, I think, could fit on that shelf. Or if you're just a fan of electric-themed action figures, then you will not be disappointed with the spark of joy that Elec Man will bring to that shelf. All right, y'all, that's going to do it for me today. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, hit the like button. If you want to see more from me, hit subscribe. And let me know in the comments who's your favorite Mega Man evil robot master, and was it Elec Man? Where did he rank in your listing of favorite robot masters? And have you ever had an action figure change your opinion of the character as a whole, like mine is doing right now here with Elec Man? Let me know in the comments, and until then, else time.